Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hawaii State Commission on Fatherhood meeting. Today is Friday, June 20th, 2025. The time is 11:05, and I am calling the meeting to order. We have quorum today, and my name is Jeff Esmond. I am currently your chair. This is actually, as I announced last month, my last formal meeting as chair, as I'm stepping down at the end of this year, with a fiscal year, June 30th, although I am not stepping down as commissioner, I do still have 2 years left to my term. And at the end of the meeting, I'll be talking a little bit more about that. Um, I would like to pull up the agenda for just a moment. Hold on. See if I can get this shared. Okay, and today is also the last meeting for Commissioner Alan Cardenas, and he will get to say some words at the end of the meeting. But with that being said, I would like to invite Alan to read our mission statement.
Hello, everyone. The mission statement is for the Hawaii State Commission on Fatherhood is to promote healthy family relationships by emphasizing the importance of fathers in the lives of their children. The commission serves as an advisory capacity to state agencies and make recommendations on programs, services, contracts, policies, and laws relating to children and
Thank you, Commissioner Cardenas. Uh, as I said, my name is Jeff Esmond. I am your chair, and along with our introductions, I'd like to invite you to talk about your Father's Day experience, and it could be this year, it could be any year. In my family, we have a tradition that my daughter and I make brunch every year. We used to go to the Aulani until they made it a lot more difficult and expensive for Kama'aina. So we started making our own brunch I think in 2019, actually. And we usually make our own bagels, have lox, because that's a requirement for brunch. And then we do, this year I bought a couple of Disney waffle makers to make up for missing the Aulani and lots of fresh fruit. We're going to go in seniority order, and I will point out for the record that Commissioner Alan Sunio was not able to be present today. He is on the mainland, having a busy work day today. So that means our senior commissioner is Commissioner Alan Cardenas. I would add there's no one in the room with me, and please state the name of anyone present with you if you are on screen. And if they're under 18, you only need to state their name if they have business before the commission. Commissioner Cardenas.
Aloha, Alan Cardenas Jr., and no one's here with me in the room. Father's Day for me is a time just to really reflect on just the heroes, the dads in my life. It takes a village to raise a child. For me, it took a whole bunch of father figures to help me to get in line. So my dad is still alive. I got to spend time with him in church together, and then later on as a family, and just celebrating all the good and great dads out there. And it's just a wonderful time of the year to be able to do that. Special time for us to celebrate men and fathers and their role and their responsibility as protectors, connectors, and providers in society. So, yeah, it was a great Father's Day, and happy belated Father's Day to all you dads.
Thank you. And Commissioner Alston over on Kauai.
Greetings, everyone. No one's in the room with me. I would say that I'm actually on Oahu
Oh,
in a hotel room with the trainings that we're doing for the weekend. My fatherhood this year was spent at church with my Hanai dad. My own biological dad passed away some decades ago, a long time ago. We also at church had a chance to award the Father of the Year trophy to the Kauai Father of the Year. So that was very exciting to have the pastor involved with that. So that was part of that day. And enjoyed the entire day and the value and the meaning of it. So thank you.
very nice. Thank you. Commissioner Oliphant.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Marty Olfant on Oahu. I'm living by myself as well. Um, I do think that Father's Day for me it became from a single parent household, right? My mom was the one who supported us and raised us for a majority of it. So I had a lot of uncles, like what Alan shared, a lot of other people in my life that were that father figure for me. Um, and so I think for our own children, it's been about spending time with them and spending quality time with them because no matter what we're doing, as long as I'm with them that day. This year we didn't have any of the kids home; they were all like all over the place. But we get to do that in the next few weeks. We're going to be spending time in Oregon, so just spending time with my kids is what I would like to do on Father's Day. I still call my dad and let him know I'm thinking about him, and so that's cool. But I'm hoping my kids will see my example in this generation to help them to be present as parents in their own children's lives. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Commissioner Oliphant. Commissioner Chan.
Hello, this is Neil Chauhan. I'm on Oahu, and no one else is in the room with me. Yeah, as you were all talking, I was thinking it through. So I'm a single father. I have a 5-year-old who's my world, and so we kind of haven't quite figured out traditions yet. It always feels like a blur, and I suspect I'll be saying that in the next 5 years too. It kind of goes very quickly. But it was all about kind of spending quality time with him. And so, especially right now, summer vacations, and he's transitioning between preschool and kindergarten. So, trying to make the most of this time. And yeah, we just, we have our routine things. We walk the puppies together. Yeah, you might even see us in Waikiki. I have two puppies that are like mini huskies, and then I have my son on my other hand, and he's being pulled along on his scooter. So we do that pretty much every weekend. Spend a bit of time on the beach. So we did that on Father's Day, and yeah, for me it was more just the stillness in the moment. So appreciating, uh, without doing anything kind of overt or different, just enjoying those quiet moments with him. I did try to do something like a weekend at Aulani, but it was very expensive, so we decided just to stay home during that weekend.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Moving on to our ex officios who are non-voting members of the commission, starting with the representative from Department of Human Services, John Kimura.
Hey everyone, John Kimura here, ex officio for designee for DHS. I spent my Father's Day with my father at his house, and we just spent some quality time with family. So it was a really good day for us. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. And representing the Director of Health, Matt Shim.
Morning, everybody. I'm Matt Shim. I'm Chief of the Family Health Services Division at the Hawaii State Department of Health. In the words of my mother, Elizabeth Ann Shim, every day is Father's Day. That's
I
what she would
like
tell my
that.
dad. That's what she would tell my dad. Father's Day? Every day is Father's Day. Anyway, uh,
Um, I forgot.
Father's. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to add, I forgot that I made an adjustment to our ongoing agenda where I wanted to ask for updates at the same time as introductions if you have updates from your department.
Oh,
So
okay.
going on with Matt.
Father's Day for me, I was coming back from a conference. I passed my family, so my wife and kids live on Kauai. I during the week I live and work here on Oahu, so they were staying in my apartment while I was in Michigan, and then we were playing drop the car off. Where's the car parked at the hotel or at the airport? Uh, so I dropped off the car so they could use it while I was gone, and then uh, uh, we had notes. So I actually didn't see my family this past weekend because uh, they were on Oahu and I just came back from a thing. Father's Day usually with me, tradition usually involves making homemade pizza, so with the kids. So updates from Department of Health for the I'm trying to think. I haven't. I've been neglecting my. I've been traveling so much. I have missed a few of these mission meetings. We do have a new branch chief. I don't know if I told you folks for the maternal child health branch, Wendy Nihoa. She's coming to us from the state health planning agency. She used to work with us in our PRAMS office and in the maternal child health branch as our women's reproductive health section supervisor. So we're very glad she's here. She actually is very interested in helping include fathers and in the maternal child health equation. And so one of her things that she's going to be working on over the next year is how to incorporate services and programs for dads within all of our maternal child health programs. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. And John, reaching back to you if you have an update from DHS.
No updates from DHS.
Thanks. And looks like we don't have a representative from the Attorney General or Director of Corrections and Rehabilitation who told me he wasn't able to come. So moving on to Leanne, representing the Office of Youth Services.
Hi, good morning. Leanne Gillespie, Executive Director for the Office of Youth Services. No updates, Jeff. Thank you.
All right. Glad to have you on.
Yep.
And our two Deputy Attorneys General for the Sunshine Law issues who helped me more than I can ever express, and I'm so thankful for. Starting with Erin.
Hi, everyone. Deputy Attorney General Erin Yamashiro. I'm here just to assist with the Sunshine Law. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lily.
Hi, morning, commissioners and guests. My name is Lily Young. I'm Deputy Attorney General, also advising the board for sunshine issues. And if I may just insert myself into that whole experience on Father's Day. When my dad was alive many years ago, every summer he would haul all of us off to Kaaba Beach for 2 weeks. We'd take his full vacation. He worked for the city, and we would just camp there. It was great. Miss those days. Thank you.
Nice, nice. And then our administrative assistant, Devin.
Hi, I'm Devin Boo. For Father's Day, my partner and I invited my daughter to barbecue and watch video and such.
Thank you. And we have two guests today. One of them is our guest speaker. I'm going to hold off on that introduction and would like to welcome Steve Evans, who I believe coming from the Big Island, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Steve Evans. I'm the Executive Director of Boys to Men Mentoring of Hawaii, which is a school-based mentoring program for middle and high school boys.
Thank you. Glad to have you here. Moving on, the agenda. Community shares or concerns. Do we have any public testimony? I think we've only ever had public testimony once, maybe zero, I'm not sure, but that's not common for us. Although I do hope to get more public testimony in the future. Before I introduce our guests, I do want to say a few words. There's a few things that happened in the month of June. I'd like to acknowledge them, actually. One of them is yesterday was Juneteenth, and I'm not actually going to talk about Juneteenth. I just wanted to acknowledge that it happened. And the other is, and it's an official state holiday, federal holiday, I believe, not state. And then it's also Pride Month. And I don't believe I've mentioned Pride Month in the past. And being gay myself, it is important for me just to just to build awareness. In the past 20 years, I feel that the community as a whole has grown more aware that there's members of the LGBTQ community all around us, whether they're in our family, our friends, our coworkers, acquaintance, colleagues, or some others. And some of us are more out than others. For some of us, it's a little bit easier to be out. For some, not so much. Some wear it on our forehead. Some of us don't, but we're all around there. And I think that awareness it helps to humanize us. And as I believe most of you know, I was asked to be on the commission by um, former Speaker Psyche and Governor Ige, just because I am gay and a gay father as well. And at first I thought that coming on here was in a sense to represent gay dads, but I feel like what I would like to represent a little bit more than I have is LGBTQ youth. And I've talked in the past about suicide in general being a big issue. And it can be really hard as an LGBT youth trying to figure out who you are. It can be really hard for your families to accept and understand who you are. It's not easy. And it can be really hard for a father to accept, especially, um, when they have either a gay or a trans child. That can be hard on dads. Yesterday we found out that the National 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is canceling option three, which was for specifically for LGBTQ people to talk to a counselor. And I personally think that increases risk of suicide for these youth, because I strongly believe that acceptance is more valuable than rejection or suicide itself, which is really never the answer. I would love to see DHS put the Trevor Project, who has a special suicide hotline, on the commission page and other pages as a resource along with the other info lines. With that being said, um, I wanted to do a somewhat pride themed meeting this month, and I reached out to Gina to give a personal talk. And I've actually known Gina for over 20 years. Gina is married to a friend of my husband's. They went to um, graduate school at UH together, and then we're working together. And we're acquaintances, and we run into each other every so often. It was quite a surprise a few years after we had met to take take my kids to preschool and to see Gina's son in my kids' class. So we're both from the Windward side, and I asked Gina to talk about her experiences, and I think that those experiences can be better expressed um, from Gina than from me. And then she also gave a bio which I attached to the agenda for all of you to review. Gina has been well respected, well known general contractor and in the construction industry for many years, well, maybe almost 25 years or so, and has been involved in the community and many other involvements, whether it's related to the construction industry or not. And Gina's children are now 15 and 19. I'd like to turn over the meeting to Gina for a presentation, and feel free, um, as I understand, to ask any questions or to type any questions into the chat box. Gina.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction. I appreciate that. And I'm actually older than you think because I've been a licensed general contractor since 1996. So 29 years. And then before that, grew up in the business as well. I do have some prepared comments to go through, and I'll put my readers on so I can work my way through that. But one of the things I did want to share right up front, because I think it's something that's important to understand as I share my experience as a parent with you folks, is um, transgender people is a common misconception. We don't change our gender. Transgender people are born with an incongruence between our bodies and our gender. And how we adjust that, how we deal with that is different from individual to individual. For me, there's a lot of pain and a lot of joy in this journey. Um, Sometimes that can come bubbling up to the surface when I don't at least expect it. So if for whatever reason I get a little bit overwhelmed in the middle of it, I have my tissues. I will do my best to not let it boil over, but please bear with me if it does. I loved how you started the meeting, sharing about Father's Day and about memories of Father's Day. And I would, even though it's off script, would love to share one of my favorite Father's Day memories. Was in 2018. I had taken the family to Yellowstone Park, where we had rented an RV and driven all over the park for a week. And at the very end of the week, on the last Sunday before we came back to Hawaii, we went on a river rafting trip. And that morning, my wife and my kids made a huge deal about Father's Day. And everybody else that was in our raft with us were mortified. They had completely forgotten. They didn't know. They were apologizing over and over again to everybody in the boat. Turns out that they jumped the gun by a week. It wasn't really Father's Day, but they made everybody else in the boat think that it was. So that will always be a special memory for me. 2 weeks ago, my wife and I celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary by having a vow renewal ceremony, this time as wife and wife. My 19-year-old daughter walked my wife down the aisle, and my 15-year-old son walked me. They sat down in the front row with my mom, my sister, and my niece, and about 100 other people that were in attendance. As my wife and I renewed our vows, it was a wonderful, special moment that, as recently as 18 months ago, I didn't think was possible. I'm not going to give you my whole backstory, but suffice to say, my struggles with my gender date back to early childhood. While I knew I was different, I did my best to hide it, and judging by the amount of shock I received when I came out, I think I did a pretty good job of hiding it. I had a public life, a visible life as a man. I imagine, like most of you, I grew up, I went to school, I graduated from college and started a career. I got married and had two wonderful children. But I also had a secret life, a life that I tried to keep hidden as best as possible, a life that I labeled that of a cross-dresser. And I lived in perpetual fear that my secret life would be discovered, much to the embarrassment of my public life. As the years went by, I tried repeatedly to purge myself of this part of me, and from time to time I found limited success. Perhaps the longest, deepest purge occurred in 2005, right after my daughter was born. I threw out everything I had in my possession, and I swore a vow to myself and my daughter that I would be the father that she deserved. I made it 5 years, well, almost 4 years in a bit, but close to 5 years. After that, as the years went by, my secret life grew and began to bleed over more and more into my public life. I was very careful about it. I tried to avoid it, but there was this inevitable collision that I was headed towards. In the summer of 2021, I took my family on probably one of our most epic and amazing family vacation adventures that lasted about 5 weeks on the mainland. And about midway through that trip, I found a lump in the side of my neck. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to spoil the vacation for anybody else. But upon returning home, I was diagnosed with oropharyngeal cancer, which is a very technical way of saying cancer of the head and neck. For those of you that have had to navigate the process of figuring out a health problem, you probably already know this, but it takes time and is very stressful. Each new appointment and each new test takes you further into a journey you don't want to take and reveals a new chapter in a story you want no part of. Altogether, the process lasted about 8 months. It required 2 surgeries and 6 weeks of radiation. At the end of that time, I was given the all clear and have been cancer-free since. As I'm sure you can imagine, an experience like this leads to a great deal of introspection and self-reflection. By the summer of 2022, I realized I needed help with my lifelong gender conflict. I sought out and engaged a mental health professional to help me figure out what was going on and what I should do about it. Now, despite all of my lived experience and all I have shared with you, it was not even a thought on my radar that I might be transgender. It took me nearly a year of counseling, research, journaling, and deep reflection. But in July of 2023, I came out to myself as transgender woman. I shared this revelation first with my wife and then with my therapist. And here's the point where the parenting experience really becomes relevant. Despite the fact that I knew who and what I was equally sure I couldn't do anything about it. And the main reason was my children. To me, being a dad means being a protector. Often this is equated with silly thoughts of violence, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is a protector of all that is precious and special in children. A protector against growing up too fast. A protector against an often unkind world. And a protector of the safe, nurturing environment we all try to build for our children. To me, coming out meant destroying that protection. Becoming Gina would be the most extreme act of selfishness when being a dad required complete selflessness. Again, with a lot of time, work, reflection, and discussion, I came to realize a simple truth. I was trying to protect my kids from me. I thought that the person who I was somehow a threat to them. Sorry. I was sitting in judgment of myself and finding myself lacking. Accepting that my so-called secret life was in fact my real life was a tipping point. Accepting that my so-called real life was a disguise that I used to hide my true self was a tipping point. Accepting that the disguise was a barrier between myself and my children was a tipping point. That barrier needed to come down. And in March of 2024, 9 months after I came out to myself, I finally came out to my kids. 15 months after that, they walked me down the aisle. It has not always been easy, but when is parenting easy? What I know is that I love them and they love me. In my life, I am known as and referred to as wife, daughter, sister, auntie, and dad. I am hard pressed to explain why I kept the male gendered parent title. Perhaps it is a lingering desire to protect that sense of stability for my children. Perhaps it is a parenting style that is more male in concept. Perhaps it is a badge of honor that I am reluctant to part with. Regardless of why, it is who I am. I am a woman and I am dad. And with that, I'd like to open it to questions.
First off, thank you for your courageous, that was an amazing speech, and act and decision making that you have made. Um, I love how you said a father is a protector, and I can see how um, I also want to protect them from me. and my insecurities and my failures and everything else that I think is bad about myself, right? I want to protect my children from that, you know, even my laziness, you know, when they want to play football or pickleball or baseball, and I'm just like, oh, I just want to scroll on my phone right now, you know, and it's like, no, no, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna play ball with them or whatever it is they want to do, right? And so, um, I love how you said, as a parent, we want to be selfless, you know, and we struggle with that, right? I think we all think about these things, and I think we all combat and struggle with these things. And you know, the word struggle has it haunts me, to be honest, because it for the longest time I thought it was something bad. You know, I'm struggling with this, I'm wrestling with this. But you get into the mat, right, in a combat sport, and you look at the wrestling, you look at the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and you're constantly learning. Every single move you're learning, because there's always a coach that's saying, nah, if you do this like this would work. You know, it's like, okay, you thought you knew everything until the coach watched you, until somebody said, hey, let's take a look at this. And so the struggle and the struggle and the the ability to feel or to the understanding to feel like you're less than when it's struggling is just that's not even true. The struggle is where it's at. That's where I struggle. You know, you live in the struggle, right? Doesn't make you a bad person or a weak person. It just doesn't, you know. And so I too am growing in like how do I maneuver and act, you know, as a authentic human being in my entirety at all times, you know, and to be proud of that and to know that, you know, I don't need that validation because that's something that I seek. I'm 48 years old and sometimes I'm like seeking that validation. Like, do you see me? Do you see me? Do you notice me? Did you see what I did there? You know, and then I'm like, Mark, you're so silly. You're almost 50 years old. Why are you doing that? And there's so much of human beings and men especially that we hide behind this like, well, I can't speak about that. I can't talk about these things, right? And so that's when I think of when your speech and how you're courageous, not courageous, courageous, and it is contagious, right? To be able to show that, hey, there might be a kink in the armor, there might be, you know, the vulnerability, right? And we like, don't be vulnerable because there's a kink in your armor. Somebody might slip in there, and it's like, okay, well, is vulnerability a kink in the armor? Is it a gash in the armor where people can get in? I don't think so. As long as you know it's there, you can still, what did you say? You can still protect that. Yeah. And that's part of you. It's from what I understand, that's part of you saying the concept of fatherhood, I'm going to still be with to my children, right? Is that protector. So thank you.
Thank you. And I completely agree. I think that in the struggle, we learn a lot about ourselves. That's certainly been the case for me. It's been a lot of struggle, and I've learned a lot. But thank you.
Also wanted to share that I thank you for sharing your story. I'm actually at a conference right now on storytelling and helping people to find that story that perhaps they have buried, they have avoided, they're afraid of, that really weighs them down, that is so much a part of who they are, and to give them the tools and the opportunity in the safe space to share that story And so I'm right now in the midst of that, with a group of, I guess it's about 14 so of us in the room. So it's a very interesting and very appropriate, time for me to hear your story. The segment that you're able to share with us. I agree with Mark around the courageous, the courage that it takes, and the vulnerability. I also, we talk about the consequences, the challenges, um, the sparks of hope. Um, so much of that keeps coming out and coming through. Um, and for me, this points to a larger picture in my mind. I think of the abilities that we have now with technology, with genetics. I think the levels of diversities of our humanity, that we're going to see and explore, with all of the difficulties we have had with accepting one another in our humanity. I mean, we're about to go to a whole new level of that diversity among us. And so I do hope, um, for humanity that's more open, more willing, more loving, more accepting, more hopeful than what we have been in the past and even in the present. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate the work you're doing about giving people voices to be able to tell their story, because that's a hugely empowering thing, in my opinion. Thank you.
I have a question. Yeah, and thank you. It's an inspiring story. What has been the hardest part of this journey? What's been the most challenging part for you?
Overcoming my own sense of self-loathing, because that's what kept me in the closet for so long. And it's what protected me. I mean, I grew up in rural Oahu in the early 70s, and the words we have in our language now didn't exist then. The information didn't exist then. And so the way that I was able to survive and grow up and be able to do the things that I did was to be able to condemn a part of myself and relegate that to a hidden corner. So overcoming my own self-criticism and my own judgment of myself was the toughest battle in this whole process. I had a rather apocalyptic view of what it meant to come out. I was pretty sure it was going to destroy my marriage. It was going to destroy my family. It was going to ruin my friendships. It was going to end my career. Uh, and I'm thrilled to report I was completely wrong. I, I could not have been more wrong. I've been very, very blessed to have uh, wonderful, supportive people around me. So, but yeah, that was certainly the hardest part of it. Thank you for the question, though.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sure you folks have a lot on your agenda to do as well after this. So thank you very much for sharing your time with me and allowing me to share my story with you. I really appreciate it.
Before you go, I was pausing to see if there was anyone else that wanted to talk. I do want to thank you. And for those who are not aware, even though we are lumped together as LGBTQ, it may seem like there's similarities, but there's very, very huge differences, um, in our stories and our experiences, even though we may all share a certain coming out. or as you so very well put, Gina, when you use the word purge, I myself wanted to purge every single drop of blood out of my body and replace it for a very long time, trying to get rid of it. And it's true. It's very much a part of that process. Um, there was very amazing presentation, and also that you're able to get so personal, which is far more personal than I have ever gotten. Um, really appreciate it. Marty, Mr. Oliphant.
Yeah, Gina, thank you for sharing your story with us. I know it's not easy. I also want to thank the commissioners too, to have the open minds and hearts to listen to the story. But yeah, I mean, just to embrace in Hawaii, especially, I feel like we're really lucky that we live in Hawaii. There's a term like live Hawaii, but I think in Hawaii, especially, we have that kind of culture here that embraces, and I feel this tremendous hurt for people across the continent that don't have the same type of environment. So I do appreciate your heart and sharing your journey with us and helping us to kind of understand more what your journey is. And it's true, every person's story is going to be different, and their outcomes are going to be different. I'm happy that your outcomes were, like you said, better than you expected. So I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I completely agree about the culture of Hawaii and how wonderful it is. And I hope that we can import some of that to the mainland. But I think that's also part of why I feel it's so important to share my story, is just to be able to, uh, let people know what the experience is like, and that really, at the end of the day, we have so much more in common than we have with differences. So really appreciate that message. Thank you very much.
I'd like to acknowledge Leanne's comment in the text, where she actually came out as having a gay son, because as I learned through my own parents, you know, it's still a challenge to come out and tell people you have a gay son. And in my case, my parents have to say they have two gay sons. Um, and for those of you who may not know, my twin brother also has children, just like me. But Leanne, did you want to add any comments?
Gosh, I don't know. Safe space. Even, when my son came out, it took him a while to come out. I think my husband and I knew for many years. And then he came out just a couple of years ago. And it's, I don't know, it was kind of, I don't want to say hard, but it's different, right? I kind of grieved a little bit for what I thought his life and our family life was going to be in the future, and get married and have a daughter-in-law, and we'd have kids, and we'd have all that you know but yeah, I don't know. It is kind of emotional, right? And Gina, I really thank you for sharing your story with us. But my son's a wonderful kid, and we support him. I'm so glad we live here. His trans boyfriend is from Texas, and he flew over to visit him a few years ago. And I was just I was terrified. I'm afraid, right, when he travels and goes to other places. He's in college in Canada, so I think he's safe there and he's safe here. But yeah, just I don't know. I don't know how to really express the words, but thank you so much, Gina. I really appreciate the additional education because, I'm 50 something, and we grew up in a different environment. And so, as much as I try to be accepting, there are, I've got 50 plus years of different messages, and they're automatic thoughts, right, that come up, and you're trying to dispel those thoughts and replace those with new thoughts that are accepting and understanding. And so, Jean, I think this is really helpful. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for that message, and thank you for supporting your son. I think that's so incredibly important. And so, certainly there, I think that's a worthy of a big thanks. And yeah, I think that with the concept of grieving, I think is 100% legitimate, just so you know. And I've definitely made sure to try to make that space for the people in my life, that they should feel free to be able to grieve an expectation that they may have carried with them or thought that they had because of who they expected I was, and who they thought I was. And so I think that that's a 100% valid and legitimate feeling to have under those circumstances. But I think with time, what you probably have come to realize, and I think most people come to realize, is that ultimately the thing that you're grieving, or the thing that you've lost, is something that isn't real.
Right.
And the thing that you've gained is something that is real. And so I think in that way, ultimately that's the path past that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you've already found it, but
Yep, found it.
I think for, a lot of people that's an important thing. And I guess one other thing to just share is that in my process of coming out, as I mentioned, I shocked pretty much everybody that I came out to. However, one person actually shocked me more than I shocked them, and that was my mother. Because after I was done explaining everything to her, the first words she said to me were, "I always knew this about you."
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, just that was definitely a big shock. And so I think my first words back were, "Geez, Mom, you could have helped a girl out a little sooner then."
I think I said the same thing to my son. Yeah, well, I knew that when you were 3.
Right.
But yes, glad you've come to terms with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. I now realize I've gained so much more in the vision of who he is now, and us moving forward. So, but
If I could just respond to both of you, and then I think Commissioner Cardenas wanted to say something, but that word grieve is very important, because those of us who are coming out also grieve a life that we thought we were going to have, that we were told and promised we were going to have, that we're not at all going to have. And for a lot of parents who know, they they don't want to hear the words. And it's not that they don't want to hear the words; they're afraid of the words of it becoming true. But I've always seen it. You're going up this huge, steep cliff of coming out, and then once you get over it, you know, it's things start to get better. They really do.
Yeah.
But it's never easy for anyone involved. Commissioner Cardenas.
I notice a big difference in my son since he came out too. He's freely himself now, and expressing himself that I never saw before. And there's bigger smiles and more involvement. So that's, as a parent, right? That's all you want, right? For your kid to be happy. And then as I hear, Gina's stories and other stories, I'm really, I'm really starting to understand the fluidity of gender and gender identification. You know, which is fascinating, really. I find it fascinating. So anyway, sorry. Thank you.
Commissioner Cardenas.
2 things. Gina, thank you for sharing your story. I think for us as a commission, it's important for us to understand a sense of place. We are a very special people in a very special place. And 2 words for me that define our home, Hawaii, is aloha and ohana. and unconditional love, acceptance, and forgiveness, regardless of where you're from and so forth. It is important and imperative that we perpetuate the spirit of the people in this place. We are, and sorry if you guys are born from other states and other places or other countries, sorry, but I think we have something very special here in Hawaii, and that is aloha, that everybody has equal worth, value, and importance. And it is important for us as a people in a place in a commission to create a space and a place that people feel loved, accepted, valued, and so forth, that we demolish and destroy the political, racial, sexual, whatever that divides us. And I think Gina said it, that, or somebody said it, that there's way more that we can agree upon than separate us. So if we can do that, the Aloha spirit will live on forever. So thank you for sharing. Very courageous of you. Thank us, Jeff, for creating a space and place for that. So that's number one. Number two, I need to take off and transition on my way to another meeting. So I'll be transitioning from devices, and hopefully I can keep my face on it during a transition from my laptop to my car. So I'll do my best so we don't have to stop the meeting or take a recess. But thank you guys. Thank you, Gina. Thank you for sharing. And it's amazing. It's a great day.
Thank you. And thank you for those comments, and definitely defend aloha.
Chris Cardenas, before you go, thank you for something that you just said, because that means a lot to me. It really does. I just can't stress how much it does. All of us grow throughout our whole entire lifetime. We're always growing and we're learning. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for your comments on this. And thank you, Gina. I can't stress. I didn't know the story. And yes, I'm one of those people that was shocked. But thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to jump off. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Aloha, Gina.
So we even if Commissioner Cardenas has a challenge with his transition on devices, we are still good because we will still have 5 commissioners. So we can move on with that. Though I do hope you stay on, Commissioner Cardenas. We will be done by 1. And I am going to try to move through the other topics on our agenda. I'm going to pull up the agenda again. Sorry, can I double check? Is the agenda visible? Yeah, okay. Okay, we're going to talk about our progress with our annual awards, and I'm going to start with Aloha Father of the Year Awards. Okay, we have so far given out 3 of these awards, and we still need to figure out how we are going to give the others. And I just want to review the ones that
Sorry, Jeff, sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Lily.
Yes.
I'm not seeing the agenda on the screen. Is everybody else seeing the agenda on the screen? Or are you seeing the document that starts Juneteenth?
I'm seeing the document, sorry.
Okay, as I thought, struggling here to get the right screen. Thank you.
Triggered. Yeah.
How's that?
Yes. We see Roman numeral 3, current fiscal year.
Okay, yay, thank you. I have multiple screens here, so if you're nodding or shaking your head, I can't see on the other screen. Okay, so moving on. We are here at Annual Awards, Aloha Father of the Year Awards. So far, we have awarded 3 awards, 3 Father of the Year awards. Last week at the Key Project, the Key Project had made a nomination for James Manaapo, and we honored him at their Father's Day event, which we also sponsored. On Kauai, Commissioner Alston has honored Damon Inez. Did you want to say a couple words about that, Commissioner Alston?
Sure. Thank you, Jeff. Damon lost his dad just weeks ago. And, a real man's man that honored and continues to honor his dad. And, I've been wanting to nominate him for a few years and was so honored to nominate him as he becomes the man over in his family. He kind of takes that role. So it was a very special time, very special occasion for us and for him to honor him in his community where he participates so much in his faith community. So thank you, everyone. And from him to us, he's so excited about this nomination and this award. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And I have to say, he looks pretty happy. Was he surprised?
Yeah. Well, some of it is I talked to him, I talked to the wife first, you know what I mean? It's a process. But he still was very surprised because he didn't know anything about it was going to happen then or that day, or, you know what I mean? All those details he didn't know.
Great, great. Thank you. And I love this picture. Commissioner Cardenas, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so in the center, that big Hawaiian guy with the Leon is Ed Warner. A couple of years ago, his son was killed by a drunk driver out in Farrington Highway in Nanakuli. And since then, he's been advocating for safer roads. He's become a unofficial chaplain to parents who lost their children due to drunk driving. He had worked with our government to pass Kaulana's bill to make our roads safer. So we were able to honor him in church on Sunday, and he was shocked and surprised. He had no idea. His daughter helped me to gather all the information required to nominate him. I also work with my state rep, Representative Darius Keela, to write a certificate. That's his wife on the right-hand side, holding up a certificate that all House members that had signed in honoring him. So I got to read the criteria that we set forth, the requirements for selecting a father, and then we on the left of Ed is former state rep Stacy Eli. She read the certificate because Representative Keela was sick and he couldn't make it. But it was a wonderful day. I just want to, I can't thank the commission enough for recognize and honoring great fathers out there, because I truly believe we got way more great dads out there than not so great dads, and this is a wonderful thing. So thank you, big mahalos. It was a honor and a privilege to do that, and again, especially my last term, my last Father's Day on deck as a commissioner. So it was extra special. So thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you. That sounds like a great event. And I think we can use something like that as a model for some of the um, others as we sort of rebuild how we're giving out these awards. I didn't do justice to my Father of the Year. I need to revisit to James. And that's Rainbow Uli, the executive director of the Key Project. This was after the Key Projects event was over. But James has always been a leader in the local um, community over here at Kahaluu. And he had a stroke about 9 years ago, which changed his life. Um, and he's recovered from that stroke and really has put himself back, given himself back to the community and also to the legislature for um on behalf of children. He really is well deserving, and I just met him that night, but it was a well deserved award as well. So that's it for what we've given out. Um, I'm going to revisit how we're going to do the rest of the Father of the Year awards in a bit as I move through. Wanted to just get to the parent friendly business of the year award for a moment, and our recipient being on Kauai, wanted to ask Commissioner Alston if he had a plan at this time.
My inclination in knowing the executive director, I think is still the same one that I've known for years, is to call them directly and have that conversation and let them know, you know, the award and why and so forth. Have a conversation with them to figure out how they might want it awarded, if you don't mind, Jeff, and have that with them. And you know, they may have an occasion coming up that makes sense. You know, they may want me to, you know, connect it to another organization and you know, and do a little ceremony. So that's what I plan to do this coming week is just give them a call, let them know the award and why, and see how might they want it, you know, delivered and shared with them. If that's okay, Jeff.
That's great. That's totally fine. I think that's great. Yeah, and then keep us in
Okay.
on the loop.
Yeah.
Moving on to our sponsorship awards. These are our recipients, and so far, we have heard back from a number of them. And I'm just going to go through the ones that I have heard back. This is not the clearest picture, but this is Adult and Teen Challenge Award. Wait, sorry. Is that? I think that's Adult. Yeah, that's Adult and Talent Challenge Oahu. They did an event. Commissioner Cardenas, were you at this event? I'm not sure if he's here. Um, they had a gala, a fundraising event, which we did not sponsor directly. We sponsored ongoing costs for their weekly program, but they did hold up the banner um, for their gala. And he submitted a final report. I haven't gone over these in past years, and I really should go over these. Um, um, he believes that they're benefiting fathers directly. Um, I'm going to turn over our Maui event to a combination of Commissioners Augustine and Oliphant.
All right. I just realized that, well, I didn't just realize, I was just waiting for the opportunity. I didn't get to introduce myself and talk about Father's Day. So I'll do that right now. Real quick, Father's Day is used to be in the past a very non-celebrated holiday in my life, as my father wasn't around, and I was very angry and very disappointed in a lot of his behaviors, and so I never really celebrated until I had children 14 years ago. And so once my daughter was born 14 years ago, that's when I believe Father's Day was birthed, something brand new in my life. And ever since then, and then having three more children, it's been an amazing time. And so here we are at Celebration of Fathers. There's Commissioner Marty, and there's Mia, who's one of our providers. And I think I was having dual status, so I was running around with my program and trying to facilitate that, and then helping out with various different things going on at that event. So I've learned a lot on how we want to, as Commissioner Jeff said, rebuild and restructure how this goes about, with presenting the Father of the Year. We didn't, the Ryan Poe from Maui wasn't present. I'm not really sure if his wife let him know what he was getting into. So yeah, that's something that I need to change, as far as how we do that business. But the event was just packed. Over 500 registrants. My goodness gracious. Probably one of the largest ones I've heard. This is my second year at this event. This is my going into my second year at this at Maui Family Support Services, and so I had a little bit of better grasp on what was going on. as far as the event. And I mean, because it was so packed, I mean, I can't even tell you, like, I never stopped talking. I never stopped smiling. I never stopped giving high five. It was just overwhelming. So much was going on. We had watermelon eating contest. We had guys. We had Connect Connections there, which was amazing. Can we share the screen? Can I share my screen? I just have a few photos I want to share, and then I can.
Go ahead.
I can. Then. All right. So here's some kind of connection guys here. I don't know. Oh, here we go. So that's kind of connections table here.
I think
There's
you need
our.
to bring them. I think you need to bring the picture onto the right screen. We see the list of the
Oh,
five.
how do I do that?
Bring it in front of the five list.
All right, hold on. Hold on. How about now?
No.
No? No? How do I do
Oh,
that? Let me start over. Let's see. Let's get it.
there you go. That's a
Right.
great picture.
So that's Ryan there. One of our he's a pillar as a kind of connections father in the community. And of course, we all know who that other guy is right there, Mr. Aloha himself. He was doing some singing and some songs. He didn't really want to, but everybody wants him to, so that's what he was doing. There's the front photo here. Here's just some passing photos. Marty in there at the commissioner's table. And then Derek there at Connect Connections table. There's me giving a little speech talking about the commission. Thank you for the shirt, by the way. There's another one. Another photo. Here's all the guys. So what we did was for Ryan Poe, these guys stepped in and said, we'll take the photo in lieu of him not being there, wherever he is. And just you represented this. I mean, this is a great, these are fathers right here. And it's a great representation of standing in place. And Ryan, who was in the guitar, let's see, is he in this photo? He's playing Stand By Me in the background. You can't really see it. Maybe there'll be a video of it, but he's playing the song Stand By Me in the background. Truly, truly emotional and exciting, and a great celebration of fathers and what it means to be that protector. Watermelon eating contest. We had children and dads doing the contest, gave out some prizes and stuff like that. Here's me greeting one of the guys. This is a Lahaina survivor here who didn't want to come out, was kind of low on just socializing, and he came out anyway. So extremely emotional and like great time. Those are my boys right there. I was also dad too at the event, so I'm walking around doing that before my wife came along and tagged her in.
We just want to say that this is an amazing event. We want to say that all the fathers that are represented here right now that I can see, if you are a father, can I take this thing? I don't want to stay. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I feel better now.
We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah, all the fathers are amazing here. I know some of you I don't know, but I want to get to know who you are. And the best way to meet you is Monday nights or Tuesday nights at Connect Connections at 6 o'clock. That's one way. I also have a table over here.
All right, we don't need to see all that, but yeah. So that was cool. I don't think that. Yeah, no other photos. Stop sharing. Did I stop sharing? Okay. So yeah, it was a great event. Um, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I felt like I was getting hazed. I felt like I was, and not in a bad way though, not in a bad way, but um, I felt like because there was a lot of people there, because there was a lot of representation, you can feel the camaraderie. You know, you can feel that togetherness with fathers and families too. It's a celebration of fathers and families. So it was really cute to see the moms like, I'm here representing my husband or my better half or whatever. I'm here representing them, and I thought that I said, wow, yes, that's what's up. You know, you coming out, you representing the family, because a lot of dads were at work. You know, there was dads at work. There was dads that the you know the regatta is going on right now, and so they have other responsibilities, and so they would come afterwards. And I didn't get to clean up photos, but there's a lot of guys that stay to clean up. It's just a very family friendly event, so appreciate it. Um, and if we can get this on record, one of the things I want to do with the application, because we may not know who's applying and whatnot, so having that contact for them, for us, of who is, you know, who the nominee is and who's being nominated, and who's doing that, and contacting both so that we can have a point of reference, um, because clearly it was, you know, he needs to know. So an idea that we had is if we do get in contact with him, we'll basically announce that at next year's COF, and present him with that, um, or at another event. We have so many events going on for men and for fathers, that can be looked at. But I think probably next year doing that, um, at the COF celebration of fathers and families, we'll get him out there, um, once we figure out where he's at, you know. But other than that, I think that was it for me. Um, Great experience. I'm excited for the future, and on behalf of Maui Family Support Services, greatly appreciated putting on that hat for the commission for their donation to that event. So, yeah, that's it.
Commissioner
If I,
Oliphant, I know.
Jeff, may I just make a comment? I just wanted to say to Mark and Kawika Matos and Marty and all the team of what it takes for you guys to put this on year after year. Just, you know, a big mahalos for what you do and congratulations. And, you know, I'm so sorry that I was double booked and couldn't make it this year.
It's all your fault, bro.
Yeah, I'm so happy that it went off so well as always, bro. So congratulations. Keep up the great work, bro.
Yeah. Commissioner Marty?
Yeah, I was going to just a little bit echo what Mark shared. I do think it was a great event. You know, we brought candy this time to the table, so we had a lot more visitors. And I thank you for printing out the brochures before and dropping off the awards. It would be great to have the people actually there to celebrate them. Like with that share was a great way able to introduce them on stage and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it was a great event. I'm grateful that I got to go. So thank you for sending me to that. Maui, of course, holds a special place in my heart. Got married there, our first kid there. But anyway, so thank you. It was a good event, and I'm looking forward to other commissioners being able to enjoy that event as well, because really good event.
I want to acknowledge with Commissioner Oliphant, if I'm correct, he just came back from the mainland the day before. So quite hectic, and thank you for just jumping from one trip to another like that. Commissioner Augustine, thanks for that review. I'm going to be in touch with you one-on-one outside of the meeting. I think what I'd like to see is if we could find a way to award it this year, which doesn't mean you can't acknowledge him on the public stage next year. but let's try to get it to him this year. And we'll also have to work on Molokai. I'll try to be in touch with you directly for that. Also, if
Yeah.
you have the receipt for the candy, there's no guarantee, but we can always try and see if we can get it reimbursed. We can try for, yes.
That's okay. I don't need to get reimbursed. It's fine. Thanks.
All right. I don't know who was talking.
That was Commissioner Oliphant. Thanks.
No, sorry. I thought that's the one before you was said, "Hey, Jeff." No. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Great. Thanks. Um, Commissioner Sunio wasn't able to be here. He did email me that he was struggling to get in touch with the mayor's office because we still have two awardees from Oahu that we're holding on to, hoping to get a major ceremony. And then we also have a Big Island recipient. Thank you, Commissioner Cardenas, for coming back on. Sorry, I don't know. I didn't see the notification right away. Um, Commissioner Alston, I think, had an idea for the Big Island. Um, Actually, I guess my first question was, does anyone have any plans to travel to the Big Island so we can facilitate somehow giving that award out? I take that as a no. Okay, Commissioner Alston, I know you had an idea on that one.
Yeah, I can if we're interested in it. I haven't asked Steve yet. I wanted to get if it's a go on our end first.
I perked up when that ask came up. I'd be willing to talk about that and see what that looks like. So,
So the option here is to have Steve Evans, who's our guest right now, present the award on our behalf. Commissioner Cardenas, did you?
Yeah, I'm in the process of contacting the mayor on the Big Island regarding a couple of projects, and I could work something out with him and to see if we can do a special presentation together to that individual on the Big Island. So I'll be more than happy. I'm looking at scheduling some things up there. So yeah, whatever we can help out, I'll be more than happy to help if needed.
Do you have a timeline of how fast you think we can figure that out?
I'm going into a 1 o'clock meeting to work out a timeline so I can get back to you about 3 or 4 o'clock.
So no, I wasn't thinking just today, but in terms of weeks or months. But that's great.
So I got a planning meeting at 1 o'clock in regards to some projects on the Big Island, and I can get back to you in regards to when I'll be flying out.
And right now the trophy is still at the award line because I didn't know if we were going to mail it or pick it up. So they're very graciously holding it.
Oh, great.
I think that's the discussion on all the awards.
Jeff, did you hear Steve's comment that he may be open if we need so? I think that's what he was saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And if Commissioner Cardenas does come up with something, maybe we can even have you guys all together as well. I'm trying to remember which event this is. I think Commissioner Cardenas, I don't know if you could see the screen or not. Is that your event?
Oh, that's we gave a sponsorship award to Adult and Teen Challenge.
Okay.
So they used the scholarship as seed money for their annual gala to raise funds to house and support all these men that are recovering, that are coming out of prison and in offender reintegration program. So that was a picture of the gala on May 24th. So on behalf of Kalani Arthur and those men there and their families, I just want to extend a big mahalo. It costs about $55,000 to lock up one of those guys in prison. The fact that we as a commission get to be able to break the cycle of addiction and so forth. It was an amazing, heartfelt, awesome, amazing program that we can continue to keep them out of prison and build healthy relationships with their families and the community. So thank you guys so much for supporting a wonderful organization and gala. Thank you.
Thank you. And then this is the Children's Discovery Center in Honolulu. They sent me this. They were struggling to get the banner on the wall, so they put it over on this table. They they ended up doing 2 days of free admission for fathers. This was the first year they extended to Saturday, not just Sunday. And they sent a final report as well. They said at the bottom, success for all of our events are always determined by informal observations and direct feedback from families. Many families appreciated the free admission for fathers. Okay, we're down to half an hour. Moving on the agenda. Our periodic newsletter. Behind the scenes, Mr. Alston has been working on our second edition of the year newsletter. And I'll bring it up. Hopefully you looked at it in the agenda that was posted. And Devin has helped with the formatting. It's been a huge help on this one. So we went ahead and we put a couple of the events on here that we had early pictures of. Mr. also wrote some stuff as well, and in the end, put a focus on the spotlight on Commissioner Cardenas as well. And Commissioner Alston, did you want to say anything about this current newsletter?
Sure. Just a big mahalo to yourself, Jeff and Devin, for the support and the help in putting this together. And the article we did is on the training we had on fatherhood and trauma, so we picked up on that, and we're very thankful for the Office of Wellness that gave us that presentation. And just want to add to Commissioner Cardenas, I just had an incredible opportunity to read about the ministries, the programs that you're doing. And I was just amazed, brother, just amazed of all the lives that you've been touching for now decades, for generations, bro. And I thought I was going to be quick to put this together and get it to Jeff. I was just reading and rereading and just amazed by all of the work you've been doing. Sometimes we just don't know. We have had the wonderful opportunity to have you on the commission for years now, and you're coming down to an end of that tenure. But I just discovered even more so the amazing work that you're doing in the communities of Hawaii, with men, with families, and your beautiful wife and family and your church family. So thank you so much for all that you're doing, and so honored that we could spotlight you in this summer issue, Alan. So honored, brother.
So maybe next week we can get this out. That would be great. And thank you. It takes a lot of work. I know that, Commissioner Alston. Thank you very much. Okay, sticking with Commissioner Alston on our agenda, do you have any updates on the periodic online gathering of fatherhood commissioners nationwide?
So I didn't get a chance to email Mark this time. He's agreed, Commissioner Mark from Maui, to help me with this. So I will be able to get that to him. Have had a very busy travel schedule myself the last several weeks now. So hopefully we'll have a better update on when we might have this event, to really invite commissioners nationally together, hopefully for a periodic meeting where we can talk story and support one another. So I should have a bit more to talk about next go around, Mark and myself, Jeff.
Thank you. Moving on to ongoing business and updates. Trauma-informed training planning. This says tentatively planned for August 22nd. That's not tentatively, that is now confirmed. This is intended to be an in-person meeting or training combined with an in-person meeting. So please, everybody, go to your calendars, send an email to confirm this. And I just drafted up our initial planning. This is our schedule. We're going to start off with a 2-hour meeting, break for lunch, and then have our trauma-informed training. We plan to provide lunch and parking as well. The training, the preference is in person. This is for both commissioners and for our ex officios as well. So I'm hoping that all of the above can get back to us soon so we can start working on travel arrangements, et cetera, et cetera. We don't yet have a room identified. Working with Amanda Stevens continues to work on this as well as with Dr. Kevin Thompson. I'm hoping we can all be there in person so we don't have to put the training on Zoom. It won't be as effective in my opinion. I put down to talk about objectives. Our dual objectives is to train us as commissioners, as well as to turn it around and trying to get ourselves a little bit more active in the community. It sounds like having some of these events this past month has been great. Let's do more than that, and I think that's what we're targeting as well, to expand our circles of influence as well. I think that's where we stand on the planning. If anyone has any questions on any of that, or ideas or thoughts.
So the question that I have for this training is, what is the website that? Because what I want to do is probably get, I don't know, I can get my work to sponsor possibly. I don't even know, but what's the website to the training? Is there a website to the training? Is there a, how do I reference this?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay.
But one thing is maybe it's only 2 months from now. Maybe you want to wait till the training itself to figure all of that and start promoting it at your workplace.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Promoting that, and also for me to attend, maybe, I don't know, maybe Dr. What is his name again?
Thompson.
Thompson. Yeah. Dr. Thompson. Maybe he has something that's drafted or something like that, a flyer or something. Okay, cool. Mahalo.
And Jeff, they and Mark, they have a website, Dr. Thompson, Office of Wellness, that you could go to if you need to, say, hey, this is the office and the folks that are, offering this training to us.
Yes, and I'll try to get an email going on this between each of the participants. Did not realize Mr. Oliphant was on. Hold on. Okay.
I was here. I just was changing my device. Thanks.
Oh, gotcha. Sometimes it's hard for me to see all this stuff on the different screens, although I'm so happy to be able to have the multiple screens. Okay. Moving on our agenda, commissioner position update. Again, we have a commissioner, Lowell, who took his son to the mainland to see his dad or his son's grandfather and was unable to join us today. As some of you know, it is such a struggle to get new commissioners on board. I just don't know why it is so hard. So I'm trying to get him just like many of us, what do you call an interim um, position, and I've been hoping to get it by July 1st so he can start the new fiscal year with us. And the senator's office, the boards and commission office, is just such a struggle to get them to move. I don't know what else to do. Keep working on that. Officer nominations and elections. It's my hope to have that in July somehow. Um, I'm going to tell you what the positions are right now. Sorry, I need to back up on C. Um, our Big Island position is open as well. And I think we have effective July 1st, one Oahu position that's open as well that we actually, I don't think we have a current applicant. But officer nominations and elections, you can nominate yourself. We don't really have a format for the election yet, but I'm going to tell you what the positions are. There are two formal positions in the legislation that created the Commission on Fatherhood, and that is chair and vice chair. And somewhere along the way, I don't know, the two positions of finance chair and secretary were created, and the reason for that was very simply because we did not have an administrative assistant. So I don't know if we still need the secretary position. For the finance chair position, I do like the idea of having it. This is up to you guys. I also like the idea of the chair actually holding that position because somehow the chair seems to know the direction or that we're going in terms of creating the budget. And it's a lot easier now that we have an administrative assistant to help with um, the administrative tasks of expenses, travel planning, receipts, et cetera, et cetera. I'm excited for who's gonna step up next month, and obviously I'm here to help with transitioning the position of chair. So I worked with Devin. We have booked the room for those dates for the rest of the year to make sure that we have it on the calendar. I don't think they're all third Fridays based on holidays or something going on. Please, after the meeting, make sure you have it on your calendar for all of the future meetings. Moving to our conclusion, I stumbled on this by accident, and it's a story about our logo. Sometimes when you do searches on the Commission on Fatherhood, you find stuff that's been posted in the past. And I found this old article. And I think Chet may have been a former chair. Um, but they formally created the logo. Um, and I did want to read this. I just thought this was pretty neat. Um, the hand is holding or supporting the kalo, which is extremely important in Hawaiian culture because it serves as a symbol of ancestry, heritage, and family, as well as sustenance and life. The triangle has a dual meaning as both a symbol of the family, the 3 points representing the mother, father, and child, and safety and shelter of the home. And also, he pointed out that he believes the kalo also represents a shark's tooth, and I'll go back to that symbol. And that's the first I've heard of that. I like that. So if anyone was wondering what the history of our logo is, that's the history. And our prior Commissioner Chair Matos had made the comment that our logo file itself is not a good quality, and we kind of need to get the quality back for our anything that we produce with it. Stop my share. Okay, Commissioner Cardenas, are you there? We are we are at
Yes, I am.
thank you. We're at the conclusion of the meeting. And I put final thoughts down here. I thought I asked Commissioner Cardenas if he would make some final thoughts about his time on the commission, and then I'll follow with my own just as my time as a chair. So Commissioner Cardenas.
Yeah, a couple of things. Jeff, as you're making a comment about it's hard to find commissioners that will commit, I totally understand what it takes to be here. So one is I'd like to offer my ongoing support to the commission, to its mission and so forth from my own individual capacity and that which organizations I'm a part of. So that's number one. Number two, to for me, it's been a long journey. I think I was appointed back in 2020. We had COVID going on. Kavika Matos was, had a fresh crew. We're learning the ropes with all the missed meetings. I think if we check the record, I think I probably missed one whole year of commission meeting because not having quorum. So with that said, I just feel like I haven't been as effective that I could have been as a commissioner due to all the challenges with the sunshine law, new board, learning the ropes and all of that. So I'd be more than honored to, if you guys feel it's appropriate for me to stay in contact, to be engaged at the meetings, to support the vision and the mission. I believe that with all my heart. And from a legal side of things, since I didn't serve a full term my first round anyway, I failed somebody else's. I'll be more than happy to put my hat in the ring if the commission see that fit and if we can clear the legal hurdles to be able to get things done. So with that said, that's the first part of it. I don't think there's anything more important than what we're doing here. So again, I want to thank all of you commissioners for saying yes to this. It's an honor and a privilege of serving with all of you. I appreciate what you folks do in your own individual capacity. And on top of that, you giving the extra to be part of this Hawaii State Commission on Fatherhood. Big mahalos. My heart goes out to you. Just know that I will continue to do what I have to do in my community on the west side of Oahu. And at the same time, my home, our home, Hawaiʻi. Just because I term out from the Hawaii State Commission of Fatherhood doesn't mean that I'm going to stop being a father or do what I've done and some of the things that Brian talked about. So again, continue to do what you do. Again, continue to perpetuate the spirit of this people, this beautiful place we call home, Hawaiʻi. And till we meet again, malama pono, auiho, God bless and aloha.
Thank you, Commissioner Cardenas. I have looked at the statute and all of that, and in terms of terms, we are limited to 2 terms, period, regardless of whether one of our terms is shortened. So there is not an option to sign back on for another 3 years. It sounds like you served 5 years. So the max any of us can do is 8 years. Mine's going to be 6 years. My first term was 2 years. And I have the dates of all current commissioners' expiration, if you're wondering. So unfortunately, it's not an option for any of us. I wish. Um, Thank you, Commissioner Oliphant. I'd like to say some words, and um, I never expected to be chair. I kind of stepped in to fill in as an administrator, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think I have the personality to be chair, but I've really enjoyed it. It's been very administrative for me the whole time. Before we had an admin, helping to get the admin up and going, and we're still working on that. Um, and I think I've been clear. I've always seen myself as transition in a sense. Commissioner Matos helped start us coming out of COVID. I'm trying to continue that. I've had some successes. I've had some failures, some wish I did, and stuff like that. I did actually get us to increase our budget, but I haven't gotten us to actually spend our money successfully. Um, um, Sometimes I know I'm repetitive, but I love giving out the sponsorship awards, and I increased that by a lot, so we were able to give out more. Um, for that, I helped work with DHS to get the funding for the admin assistant, and that's just huge. Um, I I I started to get us more engaged with the legislature, and I didn't get us where I wanted to be at all. But I feel like we did start, and I feel like there's so much more that we can do. To be clear, I'm not stepping down as a commissioner. I'm stepping down as chair. I do have 2 years that I plan to stay on, and especially to help with any kind of transition. But I think that the commission has so much potential, and changing chairs, changing viewpoints, changing goals, I think will really help get us there. Especially for those of you that are somewhat more within social services, and et cetera, and working more closely with families than me, being in private business. So I certainly have a lot of hopes, but um, thank you for joining us, Michelle. That I really appreciate that. I'm excited for all of you, every single one of you, and to see all of your potential, whether or not you step as up as chair or vice chair. Um, and 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 I don't think there's limits other than the sunshine law, which is incredibly limiting. But but um, you can really bring this commission in the direction that you want. I have my hopes for more legislative engagement, for more community engagement as well. Because one of my failures has been really to get to figure out how to organize public events. I guess that's not a strength of mine, as I've come to learn. But the most important thing is that um, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do this without all of you. And I appreciate all of you so much for what you've done, and for those continuing on what you're going to put in. So I do want to say thank you to all of you. I want to thank Erin and Lily, because you have no idea how much we have been in contact trying to make sure that this commission is following the law, in many, many different ways. I can't express it enough, Erin and Lily. Thank you. And there's also been a handful of people within DHS. She's not here, Mimari Hall. She was just huge as helping me. Just she's irreplaceable, in getting me going as chair when I had no clue what I was doing. Amanda Stevens has also been a supporter. She supports the commission. She's just incredibly busy. And there's two other people who have had involvement with the commission in the past that have communicated with me on and off. Malia Talmdinik and Catherine Coronaga, who again are not here. I was hoping they would show up, and they deserve acknowledgement for their input. And to any new chair, please be in touch with them, because they have a lot to offer, as well, and a lot of thoughts and connections for us. So with that, I thank all of you. Mahalo. And if there's any other final words, I'm going to call for our first vote to adjourn the meeting. If any other final words, please go ahead.
Jeff,
Big
I just
chair.
want
Go ahead, Brian. Hey,
you go ahead.
okay. Hey, Jeff, I want to say big mahalo to you, stepping in and using your gifts to really move the commission forward. Under your watch, under your leadership, we're able to get things done. And I like to get things done. I don't want to meet just for the sake of meeting. So again, just thank you, man. Thank you for all that you've done to move the ball forward. And thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to support an amazing chair like you. And I'm sorry, I need to prep for my 1 o'clock meeting, but love you all. God bless. We'll stay in touch. Aloha.
Thanks.
And Jeff, I just wanted to add to that what Alan said. Man, you're a natural, Jeff. You're a natural. So thank you for all of your leadership. My hope is that you don't resign until we have people in place. But yeah, you've been such a great leader with the organization, Jeff. So thank you for all that you're doing and all that you will do. Thank you.
I'm actually taking Commissioner Matos's lead of stepping down, and then someone will just automatically stop. That's certainly my hope. But I think that's the best way to make it happen. But again, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it's always good to have leadership and succession planning, right? We want to make sure that someone's going to be following you. I already have private message a few people to consider it. But I do think that part of it is that it takes a lot to move any type of work in the state of Hawaii. So I appreciate your willingness to be part of the leadership and moving us forward. Yeah, there are hurdles. I think any commission, any board in the state has to overcome, but I think there's laws and rules for a reason, a good reason, because else we can get really quickly in trouble regarding stuff. But I do appreciate the wisdom of the state and having Deputy Attorney AG's here has been super helpful to keep us on track and keep us honest, right? But I do think that I do appreciate you, Jeff, and all that you've done and continue to do. Um, and I know that it's not easy, especially when we don't meet quorum. And although you've sent out tons of messages to make sure that we're all there, so life happens. That's the thing about humans. Life happens, and our best intentions sometimes. But yeah, and I'm also appreciative of just having Devin on site and being able to be a support. She's been super helpful in other ways too. But yeah, you've done a lot to establish us, Jeff, and I know that you'll continue to be on the commission and looking forward to continue to serve with everyone here. So welcome everyone and don't go anywhere. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to throw out a motion to, I move that we adjourn our meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of adjourning today's meeting, please raise your hand. This was unanimous among the 5 commissioners present, which is Augustine, Esmond, Chahan, Oliphant, and Olson. Thank you, everybody. It is 12:51 and our meeting has ended. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone.